Hello, please remain standing for the national anthem, which will be sung by vocalist Kate Johnson.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets roared, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Saint us and star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of and the home of the brave.
You may be seated. Good afternoon, and welcome. Welcome to the commencement ceremony for the 2015 graduating class of the University of Idaho College of Law. This graduation ceremony occurs in the 106th year of the College of Law's history and on the happiest day of the academic calendar. My name is Richard Seaman, and I am an Associate Dean in the college. I have the great honor of standing in today for Dean Mark Adams, who has been taken out of town for family reasons. I know that Dean Adams wishes he could be here to honor the class of 2015. With your graduation today, you become part of the history and the future of the College of Law. And I'll take this occasion to say that it has been a distinguished history and it promises a bright future. The college can claim among its alumni and alumna leaders in law, government, and business. Indeed, we honor two such alums today. The College of Law's future is bright as it grows in reputation and accomplishments. Just in the past year, the college has held conferences and symposia that have drawn regional and national attention and speakers, including symposia on Native American law, energy law, and technology law. Members of our College of Law faculty have published articles in the nation's leading law journals and books with national publishers. We have established a second-year program in Boise and will be moving into a new facility in Boise next fall, the Idaho Law and Justice Learning Center, that we will occupy with offices of the Idaho Supreme Court as well as the State Law Library. But my pride in these accomplishments pales in comparison to my pride in you graduates for the hard-won accomplishment that we celebrate today. Everyone I've ever met who graduated from law school has said that it is one of the hardest things that they've ever done. Graduates, would you agree with that? I'm sensing agreement here. Then I hope that you graduates, as well as your family and supporters, take time genuinely to celebrate your accomplishment. This is truly huge. In fact, I emphasize the importance of taking time to celebrate your achievement because it's all too easy to think of graduation as another thing to check off before you go on to the next thing. That is especially true when the next thing is the bar exam, as I suspect is in the immediate future for many, if not all of you. Well, there is always another thing, but that shouldn't prevent you from celebrating today's success. Our College of Law is an integral part of a great university, and that great university has dedicated leaders. Allow me now to introduce the university leaders present here today on the platform, along with other special guests. I'll ask them to stand for a moment as I call their names, and then I'll ask you to join me in recognizing them after all of them have been introduced. With us on the platform are Chuck Staben, President of the University of Idaho, Gene Stevenson, Vice Provost for Academic Affairs at the university, Heather Chernak, University Registrar. Also joining us are special guests, each of whom will serve a distinctive role in today's ceremony. They are Lawrence Wasden, Attorney General of Idaho, UI Law alumnus, today's commencement speaker, and recipient of the Faculty Award of Legal Merit, Karen Gowland, UI Law alumna and former Senior Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary of Boise, Inc. Would you please join me in recognizing these leaders of the university and the profession and thanking them for coming today? Now, I have the honor of introducing the members of the law faculty and JD staff who are on the stage today. I am proud to call them my colleagues. I'll ask them to stand as I read their names alphabetically, and then ask you in the audience to recognize them after they've all been introduced. Professor Mark Anderson, Professor Ben Beard, Professor Anne-Marie Bridey, Professor Don Burnett, Professor Barbara Cousins, Professor Eliza Cover, Professor Benjamin Cover, Professor and Law Library Director Helene Davis, Associate Dean and Professor Jeff Dodge, Assistant Dean for Career Development Anne-Marie Fulfer, Professor Ruth Funabiki, Professor Diana Gleason, Professor Dale Goebel, Professor Sarah Hahn, Professor Brooke Hardy, Professor and Director of Clinics Maureen Laughlin, Professor Monique Lillard, Professor Jessica Long, Professor Deborah McIntosh, Professor Jean Madamo, Professor John Miller, Professor Christina Pollard, Director of Externships and Pro Bono Programs Sunil Ramalingam, Professor John Rumel, Professor Shakira Sanders, Professor Anastasia Telesetsky, and Director of Admissions Carol Wells. Please join me in recognizing my College of Law colleagues. Last but by no means least on the platform, joining me on stage are three members of the class of 2015. I'll ask them to stand alphabetically and then ask you to recognize them after I've introduced them. K.C. Harding, this year's recipient of the Faculty Award for Legal Achievement. Niyama Olenu, Student Bar Association President for 2014-2015. And Elaine Randall, this year's winner of the Spirit of the Class Award. Please join me in recognizing them. Indulge me one last time as I name and then ask you to recognize members of the College of Law staff who are not on stage today but who have worked very hard and are working even now to make this wonderful ceremony happen. They are Christy Becker, Assistant to the Career Development and Academic Success Directors and Special Events Coordinator, Jan Levengood, Assistant to the Assistant Dean for Admissions, Cindy Maylott, Assistant to the Clinic Director, and I hope is in the audience, Sandy Schluter, Assistant to the Deans. Please join me in recognizing them as well. It is now my pleasure to introduce the President of the University of Idaho, Dr. Chuck Staben.
Thank you, Dean Seaman, for opening our commencement ceremony. May I take a special moment, or a moment to say a special thank you to our musical group, the Idaho Brass Quintet. We are especially pleased to have you with us this afternoon. Faculty, honored guests, parents and families, we thank you for joining us. Welcome to beautiful Moscow, where for 126 years, our state's leading national research university has been creating a better future for our state and our world. Many of you have traveled far to be here today. Thank you for being here. Students, you've also traveled far. Your years of hard work have paid off and you are at the finish line, so I'll keep my remarks brief. As president, though, I reserve the right to hold back that finish line tape just a little while longer as I'd like to share with you some highlights of the University of Idaho's success story. That is a story in which you, as graduates of the College of Law, have today written another chapter. A moment ago, I called this university a leading national research university. I'm sure you've heard me say this more than once, but what does it mean? First, we are the state's land-grant institution, a historic charge to enhance the lives of our state's citizens and the entire state of Idaho. We take that entire part of our mission seriously, serving every county in Idaho and 3 Native American reservations. It includes not just our beautiful home here in Moscow with a full 3-year JD program, but of course also Boise, where students can complete their 2nd and 3rd years. From north to south, east to west, the state of Idaho is our campus. We serve the state of Idaho and beyond by offering a transformative educational experience. Our nationally recognized College of Law is an excellent example of that success. For more than 100 years, the College of Law has produced leaders in business, law, and public service. You will join their ranks and help shape the future of our state and of our world. This year, the College of Law was named one of the nation's best law schools for practical training by National Jurist magazine, and a top school for international law and alternative dispute resolution by Pre-Law magazine. Our widely respected pro bono program continues to demonstrate the law school's commitment to serving communities and improving access to justice. Soon, the Idaho Law and Justice Learning Center in Boise will open its doors as a new landmark on the landscape of legal education, serving a growing college. The future indeed looks very bright for the College of Law. Students of your caliber might have been prepared to succeed at many institutions, but we are glad that you chose the University of Idaho. The skills, talent, and passion you contribute are the critical ingredients in our makeup as a leading national research university. We are grateful that you have helped make the University of Idaho special, and we trust that we have served you well with opportunities for excellence. So your future also looks very bright. Today you'll join an alumni family that can attest to the power of a Vandal education to prepare for personal and professional success. We use many numbers to calculate our success at the University of Idaho, including the number of our programs, the dollar amounts of our research expenditures, the economic impact of our combined activities, and on and on. And all of that is valuable, but here is what might be the most impressive number of all, 100,000. That's how many members, a low estimate, actually, are in the family that you're joining today, Vandal alumni. You see, more than any data point or specific figure about institutional excellence, the Vandal impact comes down to people. In Idaho and beyond, Vandals are contributing to and changing their world through discovery, through service to the community, and through dedication and commitment to whatever they set their mind to. And they are setting their minds to great things. Vandals are truly reaching for the stars. Your graduation today is a tribute to your perseverance and hard work. Being here today is a success story for you, for your families, and for the University of Idaho. Many of you have made it here today with the help and encouragement of a support system. Parents, family, spouses, children, friends, and that has helped you rise to be your best. To that support network, I offer my sincere thanks and appreciation. And on behalf of all of the graduates and the faculty and staff at the University of Idaho, I invite all those parents, grandparents, guardians, families, loved ones, and friends, those who have been so supportive of our graduates, to stand and be recognized by our graduates. That would be pretty much everybody other than the graduates. Up you go. Thank you very much for the investment you've made in our students' future. Graduates, as you go out to discover your future, I know that you will stay open to new ideas, continue to seek out new information, and explore new concepts. Engage with the world with enthusiasm and interest. In short, always keep learning. The Vandal family will be there to support you, and I hope you will always consider the University of Idaho home. Represent us well as citizens, as community members, as leaders, and as Vandals. Congratulations, and go Vandals.
Virtually all our graduates today will become members of a state bar association. As law students, they are represented at the College of Law by the Student Bar Association. The SBA strongly influences the quality of our College of Law community by representing and advocating for students' concerns. The 2014-2015 president of the Student Bar Association is Nyama Olenu, who will now make remarks on behalf of the class and introduce our commencement speaker. I invite Nyama to the podium.
Class of 2015, it's been a great journey. It all started on August 13th, 2012, when we were all lined up, nervously waiting in line to take pictures for the dog book. It wasn't long after that we all stood around a tree with rocks in our hands and slowly placed them down, touching each other. Within a matter of weeks, our friends and family got to hear and see about the excitement of law school. They got to see pictures of textbooks highlighted from top to bottom. They got to hear complaints about our all-nighters. And some even saw pictures of deer with their deer in headlights with a caption that stated, "How I feel after reading a law school textbook." Some of us were given a fair warning about what to expect in law school, from friends, family, or even by reading a book about law school, while others were misled about the presumed 24/7 excitement that occurred in law school and the practice of law, from Perry Mason, Matlock, Legally Blonde, or my favorite, My Cousin Vinny, and Those Two Utes. We've worked hard, and we've had fun in the process. Rest assured, friends and family, we learned a great deal in our time here in Moscow and in Boise. We learned that the phrase, "it depends," is an answer that can be used when presented with any question. That we should never say that someone has the possibility of reversion in Blackacre. I feel like Professor Beard might have glared at me there. That love and affection can never be considered consideration for a contract, and that what one person deems as reasonable may not meet the reasonable person standard and is therefore unreasonable. We made it through all the ups and downs over the last 3 years, both in academic and our personal lives. And today, we receive our JDs. As hard as we work to reach this milestone, there are many people who have worked just as hard to support us in this endeavor. To the staff and faculty, we thank you for your high expectations and pushing us to be our best, not only in the classroom, but within the school and our community. For giving us a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen to all of our complaints. To our classmates who taught us so much and the strong bonds that we've made getting to know each other and going through the trenches of law school. We have evolved from colleagues to friends and from friends to family. And seeing all of these smiling faces here today means that we didn't scare too many people away during the process. Many thanks to all of you for your patience and unconditional support, for reminding us of the light at the end of the tunnel, and that there's life outside the law school, whether we believed it or not. To all of you, a big thank you from all of us, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. I especially want to thank my parents, Ashate and Nikua Olenu, for their hard work, their dedication, and helping me to realize this lifelong dream, and for always keeping me in their prayers. One of my favorite presidents, John F. Kennedy, once said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." With that, I urge you, the entire class of 2015, to not get frantic about bar preparation as soon as we cross this stage today. Spend a truly reasonable amount of time with the people that have come here to support you. Now, I have the honor and the privilege of introducing our commencement speaker. A University of Idaho College of Law alum, Mr. Lawrence Wasden is the 32nd and longest-serving Attorney General for the state of Idaho. Throughout his career, Mr. Wasden has been recognized for his leadership in the legal profession, public health, protecting children and consumers of all ages, prosecuting public corruption cases, and promoting open and transparent government. Please join me in welcoming Attorney General Lawrence G. Wasden.
Well, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. To class of 2015, congratulations. You are the reason we have assembled. I give greetings to the faculty and parents and loved ones that are here today to celebrate the work of this great group of future lawyers. I thank also President Chuck Staben for his leadership at the university. I also give thanks to Dean Adams. Also, my condolences as to his family issues, and also congratulations. His daughter is graduating from Notre Dame today, so I knew that he would not be here. I also wanted to recognize my colleague and friend, Kent Nelson, who is General Counsel for the university. I appreciate his being here. I also wanted to recognize, I believe Senator Risch is here. I saw him earlier today. And also mention one of my mentors and friends, who is now a professor, but also served as dean of this college and also president of this university, and that's Don Burnett. Thank you also to Niema Olenu for your kind introduction. 30 years ago this week, I was in the audience as a graduating law school student, and I had the privilege of introducing the speaker at my graduation, and it was then Solicitor General Rex Lee. And I actually remember part of what he said, so I'm not going to impose that requirement on all of you. You don't have to remember what I say today. But I do remember this, that my mother was nearly apoplectic when I was introduced as Larry Wasden. She named me Lawrence, and so most folks know that I go by Lawrence. And so I had to calm my mother down even from the podium to try and make certain she was calm as I introduced Rex Lee. Being here today is quite meaningful for many reasons. First, I always enjoy and appreciate the opportunity to spend time in Moscow and on this campus. The University of Idaho is a special place, and my experience here, along with the incredible professors and administrators, played a significant role in shaping the person and professional lawyer that I am today. This university has provided me the opportunity to serve my community in ways that I could not have otherwise done. As I said, this marks the 30th anniversary of my own graduation, and I'm very honored that you would ask me to be here and speak to you today. So I hope you'll indulge me for a moment or two and allow me to become a little bit nostalgic and to share some of my fondest memories and some of the lessons I learned here on the campus. You might recognize the name of our law school is the Albert R. Menard Building. It's named after a person who served for a long time as the dean of our law school, Dean Menard. Now, he actually taught me while I was in law school, and he was quite a character. He was from Georgia, and every time the Georgia Bulldogs would play, he would wear a Georgia Bulldog tie. I remember one of the things that he said, he taught us. He said, in his best Southern drawl, which I'll attempt to imitate, but very unsuccessfully, he says, if you have the facts, argue the facts. If you have the law, argue the law. If you have neither, raise a cloud of dust. Now, I suspect there's opportunity for dust raising, but quite frankly, I'm far more interested in justice. I want to share with you one other important lesson that I learned while I was here as a student. My wife worked at WSU at the bookie. That's the bookstore, not an illegal gambling institution. And so she would arise every morning, take our one car, and drive to Pullman. I chose our other mode of transportation, which was a white 10-speed bicycle. My son had been born a few months before I started law school, so I would place him in the baby seat. I would attach my briefcase to the back of the bicycle. I would sling a backpack on my back and a diaper bag around my chest, and that's how we motored through Moscow. I lived on D Street, quite a ways away, and during the winter it would rain and snow and ice and all that sort of thing. And I learned one very valuable lesson, that on the occasion when you slipped on the ice and crashed your bike, my bike, it was unwise to go home to my wife and tell her that I had stuffed her baby's head in a snowbank. If I want to get her angry, I just mention that even yet today, and 30 years later, she still is upset. At that time, there was a gentleman in private practice in Moscow. His name was Roy Mossman. He served for many years on the State Board of Education. He took me under his wing, and he mentored me. And he taught me a very valuable and important lesson, even as a student. He said, determine the value of your character. You only have that once. So I charge you with that same responsibility. Determine the value of your character. There are other many lessons that I learned while here on the campus. Those are lessons that have applied in some way to every single day of my professional career. Just not as the Attorney General, but also in the days when I served as a deputy prosecutor in Canyon County, or in private practice, or as the Owyhee County prosecuting attorney. For many of you, tomorrow begins the journey into the world of practicing law. There's a hurdle called the bar exam, yet to be cleared. Some of you may have jobs and already lined up, while for others, the search for the right fit continues. As I was completing my graduation here in Moscow, I got a job with a firm in southern Idaho. I was very pleased about that. It happened just before Christmas. And so I didn't really search for a job as graduation came because I already had one. Just before completion of school, the managing partner at that firm called and said, well, you no longer have a job. Now, this was quite disconcerting, and I recognized I had final exams and the bar exam to take. So I just had to put that off, concentrate on getting through my exams, and move on. As hard as that experience was, it was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. Now, why is that? It's because that managing partner, some years later, was arrested and convicted of lying to the bankruptcy court, and he was invited to spend an extended stay at a federally run facility. I would have been tainted with all of that nonsense. So as hard as that experience was in my professional career, I am very grateful that somehow fate moved in my direction. So no matter what where your career path begins, there's one constant that I encourage you to carry with you at all times. That is the belief in and dedication to the rule of law. No other idea, belief, or philosophy has been as integral or essential to my career and practice as the rule of law. On a grander scale, the rule of law binds us together as a nation. It's the source of our freedom as individuals and as a society. It's at the heart of our security. In more simple terms, it's the principle that ensures that all people, governments, and institutions are subject to and accountable to the law that is fairly applied and enforced. Throughout my career as a lawyer, and certainly as this state's Attorney General, the rule of law has been the primary guiding force in the way decisions are made, clients are advised, and justice is sought. As lawyers, we have a unique and special role in protecting and advocating the rule of law. Ask yourselves this simple question. If we as lawyers aren't keeping the rule of law foremost, who will? Who is there to pick up if we abdicate our responsibility? In this world, the rule of law serves as a reminder for me that my job is to defend the state's constitution and statutes, regardless of any concern I might have for my place in the annals of history, or what my personal position might be, or what others might think about me. What better principle is there to consider when enforcing Idaho's consumer laws and other responsibilities? For me, the rule of law dictates that no person, no company, no entity is too important, too big, or too profitable to be held accountable when justice is at stake. The nature of our profession guarantees that each of you will soon be faced with challenges or difficult decisions that will impact lives one way or another. But those complex problems are the reasons you made the decision more than 3 years ago to pursue a career in law. I have a friend. She's a professor of communications at New York University. She and I traveled some very troubled waters, and we had to work hard to make certain that we maintained our focus on the rule of law and where we needed to go. As a memento, she gave me a small brass compass that sits on my desk so that every day I remember that the path and direction that I must take in solving vexing and politically thorny problems. For example, I turned to the rule of law in my first weeks as Attorney General when my office was asked to prosecute a popular Boise mayor. Or years later, when a well-connected city prosecutor we convicted a well-connected city prosecutor in Idaho Falls of grand theft. During that time, a very powerful member of the Idaho legislature came to me, his best friend, and said, "Well, I'm sure you're going to treat my friend right." My response was, "You're darn right I will. I'm going to throw his butt in jail." The rule of law was the cornerstone of my decision to sue the State Land Board, whose members include the governor, the Secretary of State, and the Superintendent of Public Instruction. I made that decision because decisions made by the board not only ran afoul of the Constitution, but they continued to harm Idaho school children. In each of those examples, the rule of law stripped away doubt and indecision about how to proceed. It blunted any uncertainty about whether litigating or prosecuting top elected officials or industry leaders was the appropriate path to justice. As lawyers, we play a critical role in holding government accountable and protecting the individual, especially those without resources or expertise to stand up for themselves. In many ways, President Dwight D. Eisenhower summed it up best when he said, "The clearest way to show what the rule of law means to us in everyday life is to recall what has happened when there is no rule of law." I've worked with my colleagues in Mexico to strengthen the rule of law there. The rule of law is the answer to many of those problems. We live in a world today in which we are judged on a variety of levels. We are judged by our colleagues, friends, and peers. In the weeks and years ahead, you will be judged by your clients, the results you deliver on their behalf, your victories, and your defeats. Today, each of you joins a profession and thus becomes a professional. As lawyers, we are a self-governing profession, which sits in judgment of the actions of each other. The public also looks upon us and judges our ability to self-govern. This means that the best of us is also judged according to the least of us. In other words, the profession is a reflection of both the very best and, unfortunately, the very worst. Whether that's fair or not is not really a subject for debate. It's how it is. The challenge, however, for each of us is how we go about improving the profession we love so much. 3 years ago, you began a journey of constant learning and improvement that is reflected in that fact as attorneys in which we practice. We learn, we improve. One day, a distinguished lawyer will come to you and he or she will put their arm around you and they will look you in the eye and they will say, "What were you thinking?" I want you to recognize that moment for what it is. That's the kindness and caring of a mentor. Every single good lawyer in this state has had that experience, and it's worthwhile. We can never know everything, and part of our duty in our profession is to embrace the notion of constant improvement. And so it is with ethics of this profession. Each year I've been an attorney, a new ethical question has emerged. These are situations that warrant your full engagement, your devotion, and your energy. Crack the books to better understand the ethical dilemma and to find the clear path forward. Don't hesitate to consult your peers. How we as attorneys navigate choppy ethical waters matters. Your reputation is at stake. The reputation of the profession is on the line each time. I know from experience that your colleagues will thank you for diligently working through these issues. I will thank you. Idaho is a small bar. Today you'll step away from Moscow with a sparkling reputation and a professional reputation that you have earned. The question now, however, is how will you protect that reputation? It's entirely up to each of you to determine whether that luster, that shine, will diminish and fade, or whether it will shine ever more brightly over time. Please take the advice of my mentor, Roy Mossman, and determine today the value of your character. I have all the faith in the world that you will rise to the highest calling and virtues of our noble profession. There's one final point I'd like to leave you with this afternoon. As you embark on your careers, whether you have a job lined up with a firm or are still looking, consider that few professions offer such clear power and muscle to change the world. And with that power comes responsibility. In running for office, I have been criticized for spending much of my career in public service. But what does it say about our society that too much public service can be considered a bad thing? I was raised to believe that the value of a person was not measured by the size of his or her checking account. Your communities, this state, and this nation require more from us and more from you. I submit to each of you that public service is a virtue of a well-ordered republic. If, as Benjamin Franklin admonished, it is up to us to keep the republic, it can only be kept through virtuous public service. There are few things in life as satisfying or gratifying as looking in the mirror in the morning and knowing, understanding, and appreciating the knowledge that your work is making a difference in the lives of others. Public service offers that hope for each of us. If you have entered and graduated law school hoping to change the world, to advance justice, and to leave things just a bit better for future generations, the law and public service provide you with the tools and pathway to do just that. Today marks the start of the rest of your life. I congratulate each of you for the work you've achieved so far. More importantly, I look forward to seeing you advance in our chosen profession. I eagerly await the unique and individual contribution you can make to justice and the difference you will make in our world. You now have the skills and the knowledge to do just that. If you take one thing away from what I've said to you today, it is my challenge to you. Be a vandal. Make a difference. Thank you.
General Wasden, if I may invite you up to the podium one moment more while I share with you this small token of great thanks for your remarks. I particularly appreciated the appropriateness of the focus on the rule of law to which every lawyer must owe allegiance. And I think that I want to assure you that this gift falls within the Idaho statute regulating gifts to public officials, as outlined in the Attorney General Office's Ethics in Government Manual. Thank you very much. Each year, the law faculty bestows the Award of Legal Merit to recognize the outstanding contribution of an Idaho law graduate whose career exemplifies the best in the legal profession. Attorney General Lawrence Wasden fits that description paradigmatically, as you can appreciate from his remarks and from his accomplishments, a small portion of which are described in today's program. General Wasden, I have to ask you to come forward one more time to accept the College of Law Faculty Award of Legal Merit. I have to remind myself about the next award. The only thing I know is that General Wasden won't be getting that one. The next award is the Sheldon A. Vincenti Award for Exemplary Service. Sheldon Vincenti served the College of Law community for 35 years, from 1973 to 2008, as a cherished faculty member, an effective and respected dean, and an active professor emeritus. In my relatively brief acquaintance with Sheldon, what always impressed me was that he was not only highly accomplished and brilliant and effective as a leader, he was also unfailingly kind and thoughtful. He did not let his ego get in the way of treating everyone with kindness and respect. He was a true gentleman who was dedicated to the service of others. The award that bears his name recognizes individuals whose extraordinary and exemplary service to the College of Law reflects the spirit of devotion, loyalty, and commitment to the betterment of the College of Law embodied by Dean Vincenti. The law faculty voted this year unanimously to give this award to Karen Gowland. She epitomizes the ideal of a lawyer who has climbed to the top of her profession and enjoys the admiration of her peers, while at the same time devoting significant time to serving others. Karen Gowland has served the law school through service as a chair of the College of Law Advisory Committee and given her time and expertise to many other activities, law-related and otherwise, that are described in your program. Karen Gowland, please come forward to accept this award.
As everyone knows who has graduated or is graduating from law school or who has had a successful career or has stood on a stage like this and received an award, you know that you don't receive it alone, but you receive it on behalf of all those people who helped you to achieve this award or that degree. I'd like to thank the education that I received at the University of Idaho. I had some wonderful educators at the College of Law, including at least one who is sitting on the stage. I'd like to thank many mentors that I had through my business and professional career. And like you, I know that we all thank our families who support us as we get to this important fork in the road. My staunchest supporter is my husband, who's seated on the front row, and by any measure, he could be standing here as much as I. So thank you. I am honored to have an award with Sheldon Vincenti's name on it. I was a student of Dean Vincenti's, and like Professor Seaman said, he was not only an exemplary legal scholar, but he was an example of an outstanding human being, and I'm truly humbled to share an award with his name on it. Congratulations, graduates. You've chosen an honorable and noble profession, and I wish you all of the luck. It will not always be easy, but it will always be worthwhile, and I encourage you to seek justice in all forms that it takes. Again, thank you. I'm truly humbled.
The next award is the Faculty Award of Legal Achievement. This award is given each year to the graduating law student who has earned the highest cumulative grade point average as of the last graded semester. This year, the award goes to Casey Harding, who, after accepting the award, will in turn present the next award on the program.
Thank you, Dean Seaman. And I have to take a few seconds to thank my support system, my family, my friends, my boyfriend. Most of you are here today, and I couldn't have done this without you. So thank you. And I think I can speak on behalf of the class of 2015 when I say all of us wouldn't be here graduating today without the amazing mentorship that we found within the faculty at the College of Law. So thanks to all of you as well. You're all truly excellent, but it's my honor today to honor one of you with the Peter E. Heiser Award for Excellence in Teaching. Each year, the graduating class at the College of Law votes to select the professor that they think most demonstrates a commitment to his or her students. This year, the recipient of that award truly is excellent and truly demonstrates excellence in teaching. From the moment we all walked into his classroom 1L year and instantly felt at ease, to his constant, contagious enthusiasm for the law, this professor certainly deserves this award, and I don't think any of us will be surprised to know who gets it this year. He's smart, he's so humble, and he's incredibly generous with his time. So, College of Law, class of 2015, please join me, and this time, let's tip our hats to him, to to this year's Peter E. Heiser Award recipient, our favorite professor, Professor Richard Seaman. Congratulations.
This morning, all degrees that have been completed through formal study, except for the Juris Doctor degree, were conferred on candidates. Now, will the candidates for the degree Juris Doctor please stand? The degree Juris Doctor is awarded upon the successful completion of 3 years of rigorous postgraduate study in law. This degree entitles the holder to take the bar exam in any state in the Union. Degrees will be conferred on all candidates present at these exercises, as well as upon all absentee individuals who have been duly excused. President Staben, these candidates are recommended by their faculty to receive the University of Idaho Juris Doctor degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Idaho, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Juris Doctor with all its rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Idaho. Congratulations.
Today we will be having Associate Dean Dodge read the name of the graduates, and Professors Brandt and Goebel will hood each graduate. In this particular circumstance, I ask that you not hold your applause.
Michaela Kai Adams. Michelle Lynn Agee. Eric Allen Anderson, also a concurrent degree student of the Master of Science earlier today. Ashkan Charles Azarfar. Uriel Hugo Rene Solomon Benichou. Blair J. Bennett. Sarah Christine Boothman. Sean W. Bowen, Natural Resources and Environmental Law emphasis. Kristen Joel Burden, magna cum laude. Lauren A. Chambard. Hannah Marie Chesson, Natural Resources and Environmental Law emphasis. Elaine Bean Randall, cum laude. Casey Lynn Harding, summa cum laude. Niama Olenu. Jessica Talene Coleman. Jonathan Lee Cordobatarte. James Michael Durden. Samuel Lewis Finch also received a Master of Science earlier today. Claire Marie Freund, Natural Resources and Environmental Law emphasis. Daniel M. Garapi. Kenneth Matt Gerard, Business Law and Entrepreneurship emphasis. Brett N. Goodman. Jeffrey J. Greevy, magna cum laude. Deborah Ann Groberg. Carrie A. Helgeson. Richard Kevin Henry, Business Law and Entrepreneurship emphasis. Spencer William Holm, Natural Resources and Environmental Law emphasis. Nicole Joanne Huddleston also received a Professional Science Master earlier today. Caitlin F. Gibbon. Ryan J. Jones. Stephanie Suzanne Latimer. Shay Lee Line, summa cum laude. Benjamin Jack Lowen, Business Law and Entrepreneurship emphasis. Shondi K. Lott. Alexis Michelle Lundgren, cum laude. Riley N. Marchand, Native American Law emphasis. Kyle R. May. Andrew James McKinley, Litigation and Alternative Dispute Resolution emphasis. Evan Donald McKinney. Redmond Moore. Evan S. Mortimer. Tyler Robert Naffs. Brittany Dion Ocampo. Conrad James Plyler. Travis Evan Rice. Aaron David Rupke. Jillian Cheryl Ross. Randy Leanne Shoemaker, business law and entrepreneurship emphasis. Aaron N. Simnett, litigation and alternative dispute resolution emphasis. Kayla Chappelle Spain. Brittany A. Stevens, natural resources and environmental law emphasis. Gregory Martin Stevenson. Tyler Robert Stoddard, summa cum laude. Peter Eugene Thomas. Alexandra Warner. Elizabeth Denise Warner, business law and entrepreneurship emphasis. Craig J. Watt, natural resources and environmental law emphasis. Brennan Allen Wright.
Would you please join me once again in congratulating these graduates of today?
I'd like to acknowledge and thank the faculty and Juris Doctor staff at the University of Idaho College of Law. Would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you for all your work and dedication to the University of Idaho. And now I'd like to ask Dean Seaman to return to the podium for his closing remarks.
I would like now to ask all University of Idaho College of Law alumni and alumna who are in the audience, please to stand and rise and welcome these newest members of our community. And now, would all University of Idaho alums in the audience please stand up and congratulate these graduates. Let me begin with a brief administrative matter. After my very few closing remarks, we will ask everyone to rise for the singing of our alma mater, after which we ask that you remain seated, or that you sit down until both the platform party and the graduates have recessed. After those two groups have recessed, we invite everyone to a friendly and informal reception in the back of the dome here, and also I'm sure it will provide many photo opportunities. As we reach the end of our ceremony, I would like to bid our graduates not goodbye, but farewell. I don't want to say goodbye because I want you to come back. As you go on from here to further accomplishments in this noble profession, our noble profession, don't forget us. Call us, email, visit. Heck, if I ever figure out how to use Twitter, I hope you tweet us as well. We value your friendship, and we need your support to continue to be a law school that you can be proud of. Now we invite everyone to rise for the singing of the Alma Mater chorus. You'll find the words on page 12 of your program.